Allstate wants to remind fans that mayhem is everywhere. Like when your fantasy league meets up at your house. Everything's great until the hot plate gets too hot for the tablecloth. Now your kitchen's up in smoke. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, the cost to fix this is anything but a fantasy. So switch to Allstate, save money, and get protected from mayhem like this. Not available in every state, based on coverage selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Savings vary.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes in detail.
Walmart Plus members save on meeting up with friends. Save on having them over for dinner with free delivery with no hidden fees or markups. That's groceries, plus napkins, plus that vegetable chopper to make things a bit easier. Plus, members save on gas to go meet them in their neck of the woods. Plus, when you're ready for the ultimate sign of friendship, start a show together with your included Paramount Plus subscription. Walmart Plus members save on this plus so much more. Start a 30-day free trial at walmartplus.com. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. See Walmart Plus terms and conditions.
Welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined occasionally by my football gurus, Paul and Ian. Let's get to it. Welcome back, Ram fans. Episode 516 of Rams Up. Hey, just as I was about to hit publish, heard that wide receiver Ricky Pearsall of the 49ers was shot while on his way to an autograph session in San Francisco. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not sure what happened. I don't have the details, but apparently he is okay. Doesn't seem to be extremely serious, but wishing the best for him. I'm going to turn it over to the serious news outlets to cover it from here on. Ricky Pearsall, the rookie wide receiver. Shout out to him, hoping for a quick recovery. Got some random news and notes to share with you this episode. Hey, once the season starts, we're not going to be able to get into our uniform series numbers as much. Just going to be too much going on. I do have time this episode 516, going to talk about a player who wore number 16, one of our favorite Rams. I think a lot of us love this guy, Danny Amendola. A 5'11", 185-pound wide receiver and punt returner out of Texas Tech, went undrafted in 2008, spent his rookie season on the Cowboys practice squad, a little bit of time on the Eagles practice squad as well, and then the Rams signed him to their active roster, spent 4 years with the Rams, 42 games, 17 starts, finished his Rams career with 1,726 yards and 7 TDs, and then moved on to the Patriots where he did really well, obviously. Also played for the Lions, Texans, and Dolphins. Finished his career with over 6,000 yards receiving and almost 2,000 yards in punt returns as well. Returned kicks as well. Had no TDs in the return game, though. Got a couple fun facts about Danny Amendola. Well, one of them's not really fun. Remember that high school football game at Cowboys Stadium? It was December 2011. After the game, an unmanned golf cart crashes into a group of people. One of the people struck was Danny Amendola's dad, the coach of Dekaney High School. They had just won that game. Alfred Willie Amendola, a very successful high school football coach. And the second fun fact, this one's a little more fun. Danny Amendola participated in the first season of the Fox reality series, Special Forces World's Toughest Test. That's one of those shows that don't really appeal to me, but there you have it. Danny Amendola, our number 16 of the, well, at the time, St. Louis Rams. Speaking of fun facts, how about this? The Rams added Cody Schrader, right? Another undrafted free agent. So now they have 6 rookie undrafted free agents. They have 9 drafted rookies. Remember Casey Leviston, their 10th draft pick. is on injured reserve, designated for recall. Then they have 12 draft picks from last year still on this roster. Of the 14 picks last year, the only two not on the roster, O'Shawn Mathis and Jason Taylor. So do the math. They have 27 players on this roster with 1 year or less of experience. And we're going to get into a discussion about the 49ers roster makeup compared to the Rams, especially looking ahead to 2025. That segment coming up here. Some pretty interesting stats that kind of fall in the Rams' favor, in my opinion. So our last pod, Corey Durden released from the roster to make room for Cody Schrader, and he has been added to the practice squad, taking up that spot that was created when the Rams released Zach Evans. Hey, how about this poll? The NFL players voted Matthew Stafford as the most underrated player in the league. Side note, they voted Josh Allen as the most overrated quarterback. He was kind of PO'd. Not that they rated him as such. He was more upset because all these polls, he has never participated in one, been never asked his opinion, and that's what had him spun up. Hey, all those NFL analysts on USA Today made their predictions. Going to kind of summarize it here for you. One of their 6 experts picked the Rams to win the NFC West. They split on the Eagles and Cowboys winning the NFC East, and 5 had the Falcons picking the NFC South. 1 picked the Panthers, and he's probably riding on my theory that, hey, you know what? If he's wrong, everybody will forget about it, but if he's right, he's going to look so smart. 4 out of the 6 picked the Packers over the Lions. So Packers continue to get some love. 2 had the Rams missing the playoffs altogether. One of them had the Seahawks picking up that 7th spot. I think the other one was the Tampa Bay Bucks. Over on the AFC side, 4 of the 6 picked the Jets over the Dolphins in the AFC East. I'm already on record picking the Dolphins in the East. The Bengals and Ravens split the AFC North, as did the Texans and Colts. Colts getting some love. We kind of forget about them. They've been devastated by injuries over the last couple of years. Jonathan Taylor and then Anthony Richardson. A lot of people giving the Colts a shot. Everybody's picking the Chiefs in the AFC West, no surprise. And 2 of the 6 had Jared Verse winning the Defensive Rookie of the Year award. Hey, all of us Ram fans were focused on our 53-man roster and then the practice squad, how it all played out. I think it's a good time to check in on some of the ex-Rams that are out there. What happened with them? I'm not going to hit on all of them, but a bunch of them worth noting. Kind of like to keep track of these guys. Boston Scott and Ben Skowronek, both added to the Steelers practice squad. And remember John Wolford? Of course you do. He has been added to the Panthers practice squad. The Jets released Lance McCutcheon from their practice squad in favor of Jason Brownlee, another wide receiver. Bryson Hopkins, apparently no takers, still out there. And Bryce Perkins, our old quarterback. Man, a lot of Ram fans were excited about him, as they were about Lance McCutcheon. He has re-signed with the Michigan Panthers of the UFL. And in the ones that got away department, Cameron Dicker, the kicker, with the Chargers for a couple years now, signed an extension worth $22 million, signed through 2028. Well, maybe Joshua Carty works out for us, but man, Dicker got beat out by Matt Gay and never looked back.
Walmart Plus members save on meeting up with friends. Save on having them over for dinner with free delivery with no hidden fees or markups. That's groceries plus napkins plus that vegetable chopper to make things a bit easier. Plus, members save on gas to go meet them in their neck of the woods. Plus, when you're ready for the ultimate sign of friendship, start a show together with your included Paramount Plus subscription. Walmart Plus members save on this plus so much more. Start a 30-day free trial at walmartplus.com. Paramount Plus Essential Plan only. Separate registration required. See Walmart Plus terms and conditions.
This episode is brought to you by PwC. When unprecedented times are all the time, it's time to start walking the talk. Leaders like you turn to PwC to see and stay ahead. Upskill your workforce, use intelligent automation, and transform big ideas into breakthrough reinvention. Explore the human-led, tech-powered solutions that help you reinvent. It's all part of the new equation. Learn more at pwc.com.
Sweet Tarts dared to combine sweet and tart. But we didn't stop there. We combined soft and bouncy to bring you new Sweet Tarts Gummies Fruity Splits, a uniquely delicious dual-sided gummy with one side that's sweet and one side that's tart, but entirely smooth and squishy. A powerfully perfect combo. Sweet Tarts, dare to combine.
A bunch of our 2021 draft picks are still out there. Jacob Harris was waived by the Eagles, though, waived injured. I assume there's some kind of settlement involved. Ernest Brown earned a second-string job with the Bucks in their 3-4 front. Greg Gaines is also still there, by the way, so they're both second-stringers. And Robert Rochelle, another 2021 draft pick, released from the Packers, but then added to their practice squad. And no surprise here, Jake Funk waived by the Lions. Allen Robinson, though, was added to the Lions practice squad. Another ex-Ram wide receiver, Van Jefferson, with the Steelers still. And now that Ayuk dream is dead, they're counting on Jefferson to step it up. And I noted that there are 4 ex-Rams starting with the Panthers. Austin Corbett on offense, Jordan Fuller, Troy Hill, and Ashawn Robinson on defense. Fuller, of course, was the only draft pick, the only Rams draft pick there. And Akilla Witherspoon was still waiting for that contract, probably waiting for someone to get hurt, is my guess. Really good cornerback. Can't imagine he's going to remain unemployed once the season gets rolling. And I committed a faux pas a few episodes ago, a pretty bad one. I was commenting on the fact that the Jets had not put in a claimed someone like Xavier Smith, a very good wide receiver, because their wide receiver room was so bad. That is not the team I meant to reference. It should have been the Steelers. I was talking about the Steelers wide receiver room, and the fact that Van Jefferson is a guy that they're going to be counting on now kind of highlights that. And another team really short in the wide receiver department, the New England Patriots. Can't understand why Xavier Smith didn't get a shot with a team like that, ends up on the Rams practice squad. Lots of celebrating among 49er fans. Brandon Ayuk finally signed 4 years, $120 million. 2024 49ers are looking pretty good. Still got to get that Trent Williams thing figured out. But 2025, wow, they are dealing with some salary cap issues. Now, Trent Williams' contract's still up in the air. He's on the hook for $34 million in 2025. So if he gets a new contract, that number could actually go down. He's getting paid $10 million, or due to get paid $10 million this year, hence his holdout. But if that number holds, you also got Fred Warner, $29 million, Javon Hargrave, $28 million, Deebo Samuel, $24 million, George Kittle, $22 million, Nick Bosa, $21 million, Charvarius Ward, $12 million, Leonard Floyd and Malik Collins, $10 million apiece, Christian McCaffrey, only $10 million, and the other defensive end, Gross Matos, $10 million as well. And Ayuk, I'm guessing $30 million per year. So their top 10 players next year will add up to $220 million. The estimated cap, by the way, next year, $273 million, could end up being significantly more. If all that holds, and it can't, they will be over the cap already with the Ayuk contract, and still got to figure out Brock Purdy. They will likely have to extend him if he has a decent season this year, right? Meanwhile, over at the LA Rams headquarters, looking ahead to 2025, they're pretty top-heavy too. Stafford, $54 million, Kupp, $30 million, Jonah Jackson, $19 million, Kevin Dotson, $18 million, Rob Havenstein, $11 million, Joseph Noteboom, $10 million, Colby Parkinson, $10 million, Tyler Higbee, $10 million, Darius Williams, $9 million, and the 10th highest paid Ram, Cameron Curl, $5 million. So it kind of drops off there, doesn't it? The Rams' top 10 players next year add up to $171 million, and they would have $51 million in cap space. But this is the kicker. Next year, the Rams could potentially have 33 players still on their rookie contract. So the Rams are sitting really good. Next year, 49ers not so much. You could almost say this is the 49ers all-in year, because next year they're going to be up against, it's still going to be a really good football team, but something's got to give. Whereas the Rams this year still rebuilding in some ways. Very talented team, should be able to make a playoff push. Next year they're going to be set up even better. Hey, I'm going to segue into college football to close things out here. I have my fearsome 4 takeaways from the first weekend, or at least most of the weekend, of college football. As I speak, it's not over yet. Some of these are going to come off as pet peeves, but so be it. First of all, takeaway number 1, the Clemson dynasty. If it was a dynasty, I think it still was a dynasty. It's officially over. And a lot of that falls on Dabo Swinney. He's taken a lot of heat, even from one of his ex-players, DeAndre Hopkins. And apparently, I was unaware of this, Swinney has apparently pretty much blown off the transfer portal, has used it 2 times for fairly inconsequential players, and I think it's starting to hurt him. Georgia, they are at another level, but still, that was a thrashing the Clemson Tigers received. Not a good look. And by the way, if you did not catch it, Georgia's leading rusher in that game, Nate Frazier, 11 rushes, 83 yards, and a TD from Compton, California, and modern day. My second takeaway, okay, so let me get this right. The Atlantic Coast Conference includes 2 teams from California. The Big 12 has 16 teams. The Big 10 has 18 teams. Can we just find some new names for these conferences, take the numbering out of it, and maybe the ACC, just call it the Any Coast Conference perhaps? Doesn't make any sense anymore. My third takeaway, and this is definitely a pet peeve, if you've been listening to this long enough, this podcast, you know how I feel about the SEC football. Absolutely the best conference in college football, no doubt about it, not even close. However, I do have an issue with the way they get there, the way they've gotten there over the last 20 years. They have a MO that works in their favor, playing patsies at home, not scheduling road games in different time zones. These schools never travel to play in hostile stadiums of good teams. It just very, very rarely happens. And we'll take a look at this. Okay, there are 16 Big Ten teams, right? First weekend, 13 of them had home games. I'll get back to that in a second. 16 SEC teams, every single one of them played home games. A couple of them took on some decent opponents. LSU hosting USC, for example, in Baton Rouge. 18 Big 12 teams, every single one of them had home games. So we're talking about, let's see, it's 32, 42, 50 teams from the Big 10, SEC, and Big 12. 3 of them played road games. 3 of them. Opening weekend. One of them was Penn State, and they played another Big 10 team. The other 2, UCLA and USC. UCLA traveling to Hawaii. Yeah, you know, Hawaii isn't necessarily a powerhouse, but I've always said you take 50, 60, 70 college kids and fly them 5 hours for a football game. That alone is a challenge. Something SEC teams pretty much refuse to do. They know it's not a good formula for success, for long-term success, to travel and play teams like Oregon or Washington or Ohio State in their stadiums. It just very rarely happens. And then USC, of course, traveling to Louisiana. So there you have it. I've said it over and over again. I'm not trying to bash the talent level of the SEC. I do take issue with the way they got there, the way they do this year in and year out, bye weeks before their big games, refusing to schedule games in hostile stadiums against strong opponents. Go ahead and do your research. It just very rarely happens. Over the last 30 years, rarely happens where these Penn States, Ohio States, Michigans, USCs, and UCLAs, Oregons, and Washingtons, they're flying all over the country, taking on teams in their stadiums, and I salute them for that. Takeaway number 4. Now, if you are making a bet on who's going to win the national championship in college football, I would take Georgia and Ohio State against the field. It's probably going to be one of those two teams. But 3 teams to keep an eye on. One is the Miami Hurricanes. They are really good. They have a quarterback from Washington State, a running back from Oregon State. Their schedule is pretty lightweight. They could go undefeated. The other 2 are Utah, now in the Big 12, led by quarterback Cameron Rising, and Oregon, now in the Big 10. Both of those teams could win their conferences, their new conferences. And Oregon, the Oregon Ducks, they are an electric team. They're going to be fun to watch. So Georgia, Ohio State, absolutely the cream of the crop. Keep an eye on the Miami Hurricanes, the Oregon Ducks, and the Utah Utes. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.
The Carolina Jackpot $5 scratch-off ticket is back, giving you a chance to win up to $200,000 while supporting future Gamecocks. And level the playing field with a second chance promotion for another shot to win $50,000, $75,000, or $100,000. Let's show them what we're made of, Gamecocks. The South Carolina Education Lottery, supporting education for more than 20 years. Overall odds are 1 in 3.98. Top prize odds are 1 in 520,000. Second chance odds depend on number of entries received.